Tori, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, I have my favorites of 2023, but these are complexion products. So primers, foundation, concealer, corrector, and primer. And I have a few different ones than the ones that I always mention. You guys know that I love my Laura Mercier translucent powder, the original one. Then of course that I love my Charlotte Tilbury flawless powder, and then to buff my face, my Hourglass ambient lighting powder in the shade Radiant Light. Those are favorites of mine, of course, but I have a few rediscoveries and then also a few new favorites that I've been using throughout this year. So if you want to see my favorites of 2023 products that I've rediscovered or discovered this year, then just keep on watching. You guys, for primer, I have one that's a new one, but then I also have one that's an oldie, but I rediscovered for myself in my collection. The first one, it's the Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer. If you tell me right now that I need to declutter all of my primers, I would keep this one and my Laura Mercier Blurring Primer, which is also a favorite of mine. But this one has become a favorite. And I was just talking about this with a client on a makeup lesson, that if you have big pores, if you are oily, if you want to just remove texture from your face or not let texture show as much when you apply foundation, this Tarte primer is the bomb. I already have a backup of it and I know I will finish this one. I adore it. I adore it. I think this is the most wonderful pore filling primer that I've tried. Again, like the Laura Mercier is one that it's perfect as a blurring primer, but this is more heavy duty. So if you have more pores, this is the way to go. For those days in which I want to look more dewy, more bridal, and I want to prep my skin and make it look more supple, I will use these all over my face, let it sink in, and then I will go in with the Tarte one. I have the full size, but I couldn't find it. I always refill this little one so that it doesn't get contaminated. And this is the vitamin enriched face base from Bobbi Brown. I just refilled mine a couple days ago because I also carry this on my makeup artistry kit. It's just lovely to prep skin, you guys, before makeup, and I find that it's hydrating, but it doesn't really make you oily if the products that you put on top are powdery or matte enough, but it won't let them be so dry on your skin that your skin stops being oily but goes to the drier side. So yeah, this is just perfection for that. I don't use it every day, but when I'm going to an event, I can use this both as my primer and I adore them. These are just amazing, and this one smells like citrusy, so I would highly recommend it. For foundation, you guys, I have nothing new that I've loved. I purchased, I think this year, the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, which I really like, but I've been struggling to find stuff that lasts on my face. And I love the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk for events, but I wasn't going to show it to you because I want something that will be long lasting on your skin. And that one, I just use it as a mixer or use it for times when I don't have to have my makeup on my face all day. But I've rediscovered my love for the Estee Lauder Double Wear on myself because you guys know this is my favorite on my makeup artistry kit. I love it. But my friend Janet last year or at the beginning of this year, I can't remember, sent me a bottle of it that she had but she wasn't using, and it's not my exact shade, but it will work for me. It's the shade Desert Beige. I prefer rattan or warm porcelain. But you guys, this is the foundation that I'm wearing on my skin today. I'm wearing two other shades because I'm trying to finish a few bottles from my makeup artistry kit that have just the smallest amount that I have to put upside down on my desk to just finish them off. So I'm wearing other shades right now on my face, but this has been the main foundation that I use when I want my makeup to be extremely long lasting and when I want my makeup not to budge. It was even the foundation that I took as my safety net for my trip because I wanted to be able to look put together and for my makeup to last all day. I still haven't found a foundation that's better than this one. I feel disappointed when it comes to my foundation collection because I have about, I can't remember, but I have about 20 to 25 foundations that are my personal foundations, not my makeup artistry kit foundations. I don't love any of them, you guys. A lot of them I like, and I love my tinted moisturizers from Laura Mercier, but those are like not a full coverage type of product. I love my tinted moisturizers in general, but for foundation, there's nothing that I can say that I'm obsessed with except for my Estee Lauder Double Wear. And when it comes to tinted moisturizer, one product that I rediscovered this year because again was a gift from my friend Janet, but that it was my first liquid foundation that I ever purchased. I think that was high-end when I was living in New York, and I went and finished 3 bottles of this one, and then I got 2 more and put them on my first project pans in 2017. It's the NARS Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer. I have now the shade Finland, which was the shade that my friend sent me, and I love this, you guys. I know it's a little bit more dewy, but it's one of those tinted moisturizers that you can use as a foundation. I love it for the daily. Using it reminded me why I loved it, because it's so everyday, so lightweight, but it makes your skin look like skin, but gives you coverage at the same time. I'm just obsessed with this one, and I know it can make my nose a little bit oily, but if I bake or if I use more of a dry consistency when it comes to my concealer and my powder is matte, it will just be fine. So this is a product that I don't use for events to be super long lasting, but when I use it for the daily, I really appreciate having it in my collection. And I've been wanting to repurchase for so long, but I didn't want to buy any foundation products because I didn't want to be adding more to my collection if I'm not finishing the ones that I have. So yeah, this year has been a struggle because the foundation that I use the most is one that I hated, and I just want to make sure to keep working on my foundations until I have almost none, and then I can have 5 that I'm crazy about, or at least 2 that I'm crazy about, instead of having so many that every time I'm gonna use them I'm not that happy about. When it comes to corrector, I don't have that many things that I can compare this one to. I've loved my Bobbi Brown color corrector for a while. It was my first one that I finished a couple pots before buying any other color corrector. But for years, I've been using my Lancome Tantido Ultra Corrector. That one I finished this year, finally, because it took me ages. But since I haven't been sleeping much, I use color corrector every single day. And then I went on my trip and I purchased this on the VIB sale because I wanted to try it, and it has been wonderful because this is a lighter weight color corrector, but again it gives you the same result and coverage than the Lancome one. So this is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter color corrector in the shade Pink Pomelo, and this works for my skin color, but it comes in about 4 or 5 shades. And you guys, these I love. I just really love that I need to use a dot. I don't think I will purchase any color correctors for 2024. Maybe I will have another one just to be able to rotate when I'm doing my tutorials or my videos, but I don't think that's necessary. I think it will work only having one color corrector in my collection. If I need to switch it up, I have my Bobbi Brown one, but this is lovely, you guys. I would highly recommend it. These I'm showing even though I didn't purchase it that long, because since I got to the US, I opened this one up instead of opening any other product, and I started using this, and I have used it every single day. And I've done my makeup since I came back every single day. So it has been a product that I've been using and abusing since I got it, and I know I will keep doing so, and it just gets the job done. And I love the shade because it's not super orange, but it's deep enough that I can still see a little bit of a pinky orange tone to my under eyes if I haven't applied concealer. So it does the job. It has full coverage and it's lightweight. So what else can I ask for? When it comes to concealer, you guys, I've loved the ones that I've always loved, but I didn't have them in my collection. So the Too Faced one, the NARS one, and the Tarte original one I've loved for years, but sometimes I will borrow them from my makeup artistry kit and use them on myself. This year I decided to grab Swan from my kit and pass it on to my permanent makeup collection, and I love these. I don't love it as much as Almond, but I truly love the way this looks on my under eyes, and this is truly a color that will work to brighten my under eyes a little bit more than Almond, because Almond is definitely my skin color, a little bit darker than my skin. Swan, it's better for me. So yeah, I love this concealer. This is, I think, my favorite concealer with the NARS one for sure. But this year I've been loving more full coverage, drier type of concealer, because sometimes I feel like I'm getting too oily and I want my makeup to last longer. So I also grabbed another Tarte Shape Tape that I already finished this year, and from my makeup artistry kit, and now I have another one that I'm just finishing from my makeup artistry kit. This is Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Fair Neutral, and since I've been loving this one so much, I even took one with me on my trip. I decided to pull out this one since I wasn't using it as much on my kid either. And it's the Tarte Ultra Creamy one. And when I don't want this to be super dry, I will mix it with this one because this is definitely more creamy and less dry than the original one. But I love them both for the same reason. They give me coverage. It's just that one is a little bit more hydrating than the other one. And I can use them interchangeably or mix them together. Then the drugstore concealer that I think I already finished. I used it today. But I think it's a good dupe for these concealers that I've been talking about being drugstore and being more like the original Shape Tape. It's the Infallible 24-hour full wear concealer. I have a darker shade. This is the shade Cashmere, and this is a yellow one that I will mix with other shades that are more on the pink side. But this is definitely a concealer that I've enjoyed using this year, and of course I finished it, but I wanted to show it to you. This is an honorable mention because this I haven't used for that long, and I've used it about 7 times. And this is the Huda Beauty Marshmallow Full Filter Luminous Matte Concealer. This is a concealer that's new in my collection, and I wanted to add one because I wanted to try something new, and that's what I'm gonna do. As soon as I finish 2 more concealers, I will add one to try because I don't want to be overwhelmed with the amount of concealers that I have, and also I want to have concealers only that I love, the same as I want to do with foundation. So this is lovely. The shade, it's good for me because it will highlight my face. I was waiting and debating on this shade if it was good for me because I used it on a tutorial that I posted that I'm wearing red lips, and you guys, this works amazing, but it doesn't have the amount of coverage that I thought it would have. So even though it's full coverage, it's not Tarte Shape Tape coverage. Yeah, so it's something that I've come to realize. I don't know if my dark circles are getting worse because my baby has a sleep regression, but this doesn't cover my dark circles completely even after using my Huda Beauty color corrector. So I love the consistency of it. I love it from afar. It doesn't show my dark circles, but when I'm looking up close in the mirror, it's not as full coverage as I was expecting it to be. So yeah, I love it, but I just had to tell you guys that because the rest of the concealers that I showed you do cover my dark circles. For powder, you guys, this year I've used so many powders in my collection. Makeup Revolution. I've used, of course, my Laura Mercier one. I finished a Too Faced one. I've used pressed powders like a crazy person because I'm trying to finish them. But this year I've just gone crazy baking my under eye. I'm not using them today. I've gone and fallen into this bandwagon of pink powder under my eyes, and I can't stop, you guys. So the first one that I got was PR from Laura Mercier, and it's the Translucent Loose Setting Powder Tone Up in the shade Rose. This is a peachy pink powder. You can use it all over your face, but I love it to set my under eyes in a pinky peachy subtle way. So I adore this one, and you need the tiniest amount. Since I only use this on my under eyes, this will last me forever because I go through this powder quite a bit, but on my under eyes I don't need that much, not even if I'm baking. And I would recommend this. I don't see anyone talking about this powder, and it deserves the talk because it will make you super matte on this part of my face, which is my oiliest part, but it will also give me that brightness that I want, and it will sort of be serving as a color corrector type of powder. And then I can even use on top of this the brightening powder from Laura Mercier, and it will enhance the brightness even more. But then for my entire face, I'm about to finish the Laura Mercier translucent powder in the Tall Free version, and even though I'm still more drawn to the original one, this is lovely for those days when I feel my skin is dry. For the trips that I've taken with me, for example, if I had to choose a powder to take with me instead of the ones that I took with me to finish, not because I was loving them, I think I would have taken this one because when I travel, my skin tends to be drier. And when I want my makeup to look more natural, I'm sitting to film, this has been replacing the one that I finished, which is my Hourglass Translucent Bell Powder, because this is not as dry as the Translucent Original. And you guys, the Translucent Original is still my favorite because I need the it's not a drying powder, but I need the more drying effect or more matte effect that one gives me since I'm oily on my T-zone. So yeah, these I love, and I'm gonna be finishing this one soon, so I will have to replace it because I want to have both in my collection. I truly adore this one, and you guys, Laura Mercier definitely knows how to do powder. I think that was the reason why they found my YouTube channel, because I couldn't not talk about the translucent powder. Okay, you guys, and then for under eyes, I've tried two more than the Laura Mercier Rose, and these both I purchased myself. These I purchased with a gift card, but I still purchased it and I love it. This is the Prisma Libre matte finish and enhanced radiance loose powder in the shade Voila Rosé from Givenchy. And this, it's more dewy, way more dewy than the Laura Mercier Rose one, but it also has a few speckles of shimmer. I know some people don't like it. The first few times that I used it, I didn't see anything special with it. But then when I apply it, I noticed that it doesn't make me matte dry looking on my under eyes. It will just make my skin or the brightness underneath my eyes still look like skin, because the brightening powder from Laura Mercier, the white one, sometimes can cling to my dry under eyes if I have them dry for some reason, or if I'm doing my makeup twice a day or whatnot. But this one will never cling to anything. It's more of a hydrating version of every powder that I have. It feels luxe, you guys, so I'm all about experience as well. So for me, you have to not only love the product in itself, but the process of applying it and the look of the product also are wonderful to keep in mind when you're doing your makeup. And then this one doesn't have the look, but it has the performance. And this is the Ben Nye Rose Petal Luxury Powder. And these, I purchased it because I wanted to add a pink powder to my makeup artistry kit, but I tend to reach for this one for myself. So I will pour a little bit on my palette, and then I will set my under eyes, and I will bake with this one. And you guys, it's wonderful. These Ben Nye powders, I don't know if the luxury powder is even better than the original one, but they're not drying whatsoever, and they set your makeup beautifully, and they make your makeup more long lasting on the skin. So I thought I wasn't gonna be talking that much about powder, concealer, primer, and foundation, but here I am, talking about old favorites and new favorites. If you guys like these videos, don't forget to give them a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned for the next one, which will be my favorites of 2023, bronzer, highlighter, and blush, which is my favorite category of all time, and then also for the brows and lips category. So if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. Every single product that I mentioned will be linked below. I love you guys, and I guess I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.